YouTube, I'm back with a Maximum Football update. Like the video if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get it. YouTube, what it is your boy Gedden. This is my GGC. Welcome back. If it's the first time to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bells on all because the real ones know I got all types of content coming at you. And in this video, I'm going to give my opinion of where Maximum Football developers should really invest their time and efforts to really maximize the gameplay in Maximum Football. The immediate improvements that I would love to see in Update 1.0, which will launch on consoles and PCs, the full game. If you agree, please smash that like button and please leave a comment of where you want the Maximum Football developers to really focus on their time. First off, let me say respect to all the devs and the engineers and the teams that work on Maximum Football. They have been doing a very solid job of updating this game and progressing it from where it was to where it is right now. And where it is right now, it's a very solid simulation, independent football game. However, there are some areas and elements that are really lacking. So I'm going to give you my top 4 elements that need to be updated as they get to update 1.0. Maximum Football, once a month, they release a mailbag where Maximum Luke, shout out to Maximum Luke, where he reads off very important questions that are submitted from the community as they want the answers. And Maximum Luke does a great job of sharing the answers that he can. So in this mailbag, they mention animations, they mention using a hurdle button, physics, roster sharing, what's going to happen with franchise mode or where franchise mode is currently, and a little controversial, they spoke about a 6v6 and 11 versus 11 mode. You know, 6 users versus 6 users, 11 users versus another 11 users. Obviously, the reason why they asked that is because they know the buzz for ESG football is real. And you know what? Even though I'm in love with ESG football, I'm not mad at it. That's what competition does. Iron sharpens iron. You don't think EA is going to try to do the same thing eventually or in this very next Madden? Yeah, that's happening. So great gameplay ideas is going to get copied. That's the best form of flattery. But we're not talking about ESG football so much in this video. But let me get back to that mailbag. Those questions answered, those are elements that are eventually going to come to Maximum Football in one way or another. You see, my list is different. These are things that I wish can be in that update 1.0. And here goes my top 4. And number 1 is animations. To me, in my most humble opinion, animations are so important to simulation sports games that they add to the gameplay. And of course, animations is just an aesthetic. Gameplay is always number 1, but good quality animations bring your simulation sports game to another level. That's just the facts. And believe it or not, great quality animations that you can interact with actually add to the gameplay. And when I say animations, I'm not talking about canned animations where you can't interact with. Yes, none of these animations should be canned animations. And why are animations extremely important to a simulation football game? A simulation football game, I had to say it twice, is because you're supposed to be simulating things that you see on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, or whatever happens at any time of the day on a football field. And that's one of the reasons why people loved NFL 2K and All Pro Football 2K so much, is because the animation quality till this day is unparalleled. Madden 25 is getting kind of close, but animations are just way better in NFL 2K. Again, we're not talking about NFL 2K. I'm just saying the animations. And just to name a handful of animations that they need to add, again, I'm kind of freestyling these. Just the overall player movement needs an update. Every single player on the field at any time need to show change of direction, stop and go, different angles, and proper footwork to maintain realism. with and without the ball. And here's a really quick example what I mean about animations and gathering, and this happens a lot in the secondary. When they make a change of direction, they really don't have to step, plant, and spring off the ground. They're still moving a little too jittery for my liking. Just being honest, I don't think this is the quality that console gamers are going to look forward to. I know that's a daunting task, but that has to be done. Every player has to respect gravity or create the illusion of respecting gravity, every single player. So that's part of the animations that they need to add. And what really brings users to life when playing defense is tackling. You really got to add no less than 100 to 200 different tackle animations. Also, you got to have a ton of catch animations, throwing animations, blocking and block shedding animations and interactions. And I just spoke about the secondary. The secondary has to have a lot of different wide receiver and DB interactions. We need way more broken tackle animations and some fumble recovery animations. The gameplay is going to feel so much better. And just for comparison's sake, every time when EA makes a new Madden, on average, they add about, 1,500 to 2,500 new animations that consist of the things that I just spoke about. But look at Madden. A lot of the animations get very redundant, but that's why something like NBA 2K and All Pro Football 2K, their developers and motion capture artists captures 5,000 to 6,000 or more animations per year. That's what they did with All Pro Football 2K8, the 1 year that it came out, and that's what they do every year for NBA 2K. You could literally pop in All Pro Football in right now and find new animations. It's ridiculous. But what about other animations? We need to have animations like crowd animations, and players who run into the sidelines, they need to interact with those players. Coaches need to have more interactions and behaviors, and even the chain gang should be brought into the game so that they could start measuring and walking onto the field. Stuff like that would definitely bring this game to life. They do those things, then yeah, the game is going to look so much better. The game is already playing much better once they updated their locomotion animation software. So they really got to focus on player movement and what happens on the field. And again, Maximum Luke has already identified some of these things, but I really don't know when those elements are going to be implemented into the game. The point of this list is to say, these 4 things need to be in the game before the game launches. Number 1 was long, but in my opinion is the most important. Also, to be fair, it's probably the most expensive because you got to get into a motion capture studio if you don't have one yourself. Even if you did have one, to build one would be hella expensive. You got to get a director, you got to program them in. Whew. I would not want to foot that bill, but it's unfortunate, but it's still the most important, at least in my opinion. And before we move on, again, I'm just going to remind you guys, please like the video if you like the video. That definitely helps. Number 2 on most important on my list is they have to make sure that I can share my players and rosters with the community on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC seamlessly. Also, they need to literally blow up the creation elements of Maximum Football. What I mean by that is they really gotta redesign how we can design all aspects of our created teams. Yes, the UI and the menus should change around. Maybe that's a longer project, but the game should not only allow us to create teams and jerseys with the pre-made patterns that's already in the game, we should also have an option to create whatever designs on the jersey and helmet using simple shapes and layers that we can get creative and design whatever creations our imaginations will allow. That right there would create a sandbox experience that will lend itself to endless possibilities. Again, I'm not making this video to downplay what Maximum Football has already done. The engineers and the programmers have done a very good job. This is just where I would want them to really focus on. So as a recap, number 1 was a ton of animations. Number 2 was a rebuild of the creation suite. Well, number 3 has to be physics. Yes, physics, I can feel the physics in Maximum Football, but the physics need to determine the type of animations and tackles that happen. And not only animations and tackles, but when players bump into each other, when they're running over other players that are on the ground, I want to see players trip and fall. You know, physics would just add another layer of immersion to the game. It'll bring the game alive just a little bit more. Speaking of physics, Maximum Luke mentioned gang tackles. Well, the physics could kind of take care of that. I'm no developer, I'm no engineer, but I surmise that physics, you can add 1, 2, 3 people onto one tackle and it actually looks like a pileup. It actually looks like a 3-man or 4-man gang tackle. That's the type of physics that need to be in Maximum Football Update 1.0. Even though I mentioned physics as if it was just like a light switch, it's a lot of programming, and I understand it's going to be extremely hard to do. So perhaps the Maximum Football development team could just work on physics in terms of tackles. Number 4, and I know in some people's list, this is probably like number 1, but presentation. Yeah, presentation. Maximum Football, in my opinion, isn't doing a great job of presentation right now. We haven't seen a major update in presentation. It has been requested all different types of camera angles for gameplay, fan interactions, coach to player interactions, different player celebrations, and the camera angles that brings. We need sideline interactions, all to be captured in different camera angles to segue into other actions. All those things, in my opinion, definitely enter in the realm of presentation. And to also go with this sandbox theme is customizing our presentation. It would be dope if we could add in different logos for different networks like CBS, like Fox, like ABC. Stuff like that would definitely take customization and presentation a long way. Hey, why not a cool ass halftime show just like how NFL 2K had? These elements that I'm mentioning definitely add on to the gameplay. Better presentation is going to make your gameplay a bit more rememberable. And lastly, it didn't make the list, but it's still very important. And the development team has already added some of these things in. Yeah, different plays. We need way more plays, way more formations on offense and defense. But again, I think that's obvious, and no matter what, those things are going to enter into the game. So that's why I didn't add it to the list. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. That's my top 4 elements and areas of concern that I would love and wish we could see when this game launches in Update 1.0. But that's just my ideas. What are yours? What do you think Maximum Football should add into their game immediately? Let me know in the comments section below. Let's talk, let's chat, let's have a brainstorming session. That's all I got. So that means I'm out of here. See you on the next one.